Hi, this is Renina Mentor of Sunshine Living, and today I want to talk about how do you know when it's a good idea to start therapy. Ultimately, it's so exciting to be living in 2020 when the stigma of therapy is really changing. People are starting to see that therapy isn't about being crazy. Therapy is about wanting to live more fully, be happier, and it's about getting through life's challenges. I believe, and I know that many therapists believe, that most people can benefit from therapy because life is what life is. Life has its ups and downs, and it's not perfect. And sometimes you need an objective, professional stance or an opinion or a sounding board in order to get through some of life's challenges. It doesn't make, any of us weak, or it doesn't mean that if there's anything wrong with any of us who end up going to therapy or trying therapy or going to counseling. It helps us to manage our emotions and get through life's challenges. So it doesn't make you weak to be in therapy. It doesn't make you weak to have emotions. It actually just makes you human. So, as I said, most people can benefit from therapy. But when it comes to therapy, we look at something called we call them functional impairments. That's a fancy way to say you are not functioning in an area of your life in the way that you typically do, or in the way that you would actually like to. And some of the areas that we look at when it comes to functional impairment, number one is self-care. So, are you taking care of yourself the way that you usually do? Do you shower every day? Do you make sure that you're eating right, or mostly eating right every day? Or have there been changes in the self-care area? And that would look like you usually only sleep. So let me backtrack. So it's self-care, sleeping, eating, and how you take care of yourself. So are you overeating or undereating? Like you just stop eating, or you find yourself stress eating? Are you not wanting to oversleeping or not being able to sleep? Are you having difficulty falling asleep and staying asleep? So do you wake up on Saturday morning and you just cannot get out of bed? Or you notice in the mornings before you go to work, you used to, take an hour to get ready, and it just takes you 2 hours to be able to get to work because you really don't want to get out of bed. Are you making sure that you shower and take care of yourself, or have you kind of let those things go? That is one of the areas that you might not be functioning, and it's an indication that something is not quite right with you at that time. And it's not even necessarily that it's about right or wrong. It's just that things are not the way that they typically are. They're not the way that you would want them to be. Another area that we look at, and it's sort of in the realm of sort of self-care, is emotions. Have you noticed that your emotions are more than usual or less than usual? So it could be that you are more irritable, or you get angry more easily, or you're crying more. Or you may notice that you feel sort of disconnected even. It could be the opposite extreme where you feel very numb. One of the really clear indicators, something that came up with a client actually this week, is that you notice that your reaction seems so much greater than the situation at hand. So something happens and you find yourself blowing up, and then when you look back on that moment, you realize, you know what? I really, really took that harder than I would have thought. That is an indicator that it really isn't about the thing that just happened. You may be at a breaking point for you, and you may be overly stressed. And really, it would be helpful to talk to someone to get some perspective on that and to help you get back to where you were before. Another area is your functioning at work or at school, right? So what you will notice in those areas is you have an inability to concentrate. You're not able to focus. You don't feel as motivated. You feel quite distracted, and and your thoughts seem to be racing about things that are going on at home, or things that are going on in the world, or things are going on in an area that might be worrying you. So you notice that you are not functioning as well as you would like, or as well as you typically do in work, at work or in school. Another area is your social support. So do you have a social support, first of all, or do you feel a sense of loneliness, or do you feel less connected to your social support? Social support meaning your friends and your family, the people in your life. Have you noticed that you're isolating a little bit more? Sometimes we get really stressed. Instead of reaching for people, we want to pull back because we don't want people to know that we're struggling, because we maybe feel some shame about that, or we feel like we should be able to handle it on our own. That is an indicator that you're not functioning the way that you typically function. You also might notice in your social support, you have more conflict. You might be irritated and irritable because of work situations, and you bring it home and you find that you are more irritable or having more conflict with your spouse, or with your significant other, your partner, or your children. So again, that's another area that you're not functioning the way that you would like, or you're not functioning the way that you typically function. Overall, another way to know that you could benefit from therapy is overall you don't feel that there is enough joy in your life, or you feel this sense of disconnect with others, with the world, with yourself even. You don't quite feel like yourself, and you can't necessarily put a finger on what it is. And so you may be feeling numb. Although many of us walk around feeling numb, is not normal, and it is, let me take that back. It's not that it's not normal, it just isn't necessarily living fully. Because the word normal is one of those words where, there isn't a quote unquote normal way to feel at any particular time. But from my professional experience, most people don't like feeling numb. So it's just not necessarily a healthy space to stay. One of the other reasons why therapy could be helpful is if you're in a transitioning period in your life. So have you lost a loved one? Have you recently gotten married? Yes, getting married, although wonderful, is stressful, and it might be a good reason to start therapy. Have you recently gone through a divorce? Did you lose your job? Are you going into retirement, or did you recently retire? Are you having a new baby? Have all of your children moved out and you have an empty nest? Transitions. Are you getting ready to buy a house? Transitions sometimes can be really exciting and really wonderful, but stressful. Transitions can sometimes be really stressful, and can cause us to feel a little bit off balance. Those are reasons to start therapy. Sometimes it's important to be proactive, to know, okay, I'm getting ready to get married. There is nothing wrong with, and I strongly and highly recommend that if you are getting married, you do couples counseling. Not because anything is wrong, but because the transition of sharing your life and your space and your world with someone is going to have its challenges. It's better to be proactive and get yourself to a good space and be prepared for what life, or at least be a little bit more prepared for what life might throw your way. Okay, so those are the reasons why, or some of the reasons why I believe that a person should or could start therapy. Some reasons why a person might, be open to starting therapy. I'd like to just add one bonus, and this one is about children. I so often over the years have worked with children and whose parents thought, we had that divorce, but they seemed fine. Or her grandmother passed away, but she seemed fine. Children are a lot more sensitive to life's ups and downs. They don't have the skills, the tools, the mental capacity to handle life's ups and downs. And even when a child seems fine, 9 times out of 10, they are not. There's so many children who are going through things and suffering, and because they seem fine, parents are like, oh, they don't need therapy. I say to err on the side of caution, and if your child has gone through anything, take them to therapy. It is necessary and it is important for their development. You don't want them to grow up to be an adult who is still struggling with something that happened when they were 5 years old. I cannot tell you over the years how many adults I've worked with who never got a chance to process something from their past. So if you want your children to grow up to be whole, psychologically and emotionally, take them to therapy. Most of us can benefit from therapy, and it's a wonderful thing. If you can think of anything that I missed, please add that to the comments below. Thank you for watching the video, and if any of this helped you, or if it made sense to you, please like the video and leave a comment. I will continue to share about psychoeducation, this is a little psychoeducation about mental health, about self-care. My specialty is helping professionals and women, and so I want to continue to do that in as many ways as I can. So thank you for watching, and thank you for continuing this journey with me. I will continue to share videos every Friday. And forgive me for the bad lighting. I'm working on all of that. I'm not all that savvy when it comes to that sort of thing, but I'm working on that. That's going to be part of the process. And thank you for joining me on this journey. So this is Renina Mentor of Sunshine Living. Go forth and shine on the world.